7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
International superstar, Miss Mother B. Rocker.
You are now tuned in to Butter B. Rocker on Transparency Talks Podcast.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Transparency Talks Podcast. I am your girl, Butter B. Rocker. Listen, we have an amazing show for you today. This young man is doing some awesome things. But before we bring on our special guest, I want to let you guys know that our event, BBR Indie Films, is completely sold out. Y'all know I'm hype about that. I'm hype. We got some great filmmakers that's going to be premiering their films. We got an amazing panelist, some special guests that's going to be in the house and everything. So I'm super excited. This is the very first one that we're doing, and I am excited. I'm ecstatic about it all. Another thing that I want to let you guys know, my film, Finding the Perfect Guy, that I wrote, produced, directed, and starred in, and I know I put my own music in it. It's been out now for 2.5 months, and it is now on 13 platforms. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, that's like, oh my God. So I'm excited. You know, got a little pep in my step right now because I just figured this out. So I'm really excited. So anyway, without further ado, this show is brought to you by O. Robinson PR Media Group. If you are looking for PR for a public relations person or anything, make sure that you go to orobinsonprmediagroup.com. So without further ado, he is an actor, a model, an entrepreneur, and a philanthropist. Can you guys please show some love to Tobias Armand? Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm ecstatic to be here with you today. Definitely it wasn't even an option. You know, once he said the opportunity to come on and speak with you, I jumped at the opportunity. I'm very proud of everything that you're doing, and it's an honor.
Oh, thank you so much. It's definitely an honor to be speaking with you as well. I like to dive right on in here at Transparency Talks Podcast. Can you tell everybody a little bit of background about yourself?
A little bit about myself. So I'm actor, model, stunt performer, voiceover actor, author, philanthropist, entrepreneur. So I stay pretty busy like yourself. I think it's important to be able to, chase your dreams in all different facets, of the industry and life. And if anything, COVID has taught us that you can't be complacent with just one. So I do a little everything, but everything I have an extreme passion for.
I love that. So where are you from?
I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York.
Okay, Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. So how did you get started and what came first?
How I got started, I was always a big movie buff. I've always loved the movies. I was always interested in the modeling aspect of it. And ironically, my younger sister, oh man, when I say she's a superstar, she's on every platform, actress, model, entrepreneur, author. And I just been so proud of her, seeing her doing runway overseas, and she's on every beauty supply commercial. She's worked with some of the biggest names in the industry. She actually was working with Serena for about 12, 13 years. So I as an older brother, I love to kind of see her chase her dreams. And at the time, I went to Howard University. And now a lot of people know about me is initially I wanted to be a physician. I wanted to be an anesthesiologist. So I went to Howard and, for my pre-med biology degree, and plans was going to Johns Hopkins. So I was always working in college. So I really didn't have the opportunity to dive in and go into the entertainment industry like I wanted initially. So fast forward, she always had been really successful. We had a small conversation one day that I always had a passion for modeling. So she's like, well, bro, why you never told me? Long story short, she hit me up like 2 weeks later and she was just like, would you still be interested? And I said, yeah, the right opportunity came, across. And she's like, well, good. She's like, I submitted a bunch of your photos to my agency. They're opening one from Miami and Atlanta, and they're looking for new talent. So she loves you. So she wants to meet with you. So it all started from there. Definitely the acting was something that was inevitable. Because once I came in, she said, I love your look. I love your voice. She said, have you ever thought about acting? And I was like, no, I said, I have a big respect for actors. But between monologues and scripts, there's hundreds of pages, and being on set, I know is very demanding. She's like, well, you know what? She said, well, give it a chance. So I decided to start taking some classes at Nick Conti's professional studio in Buckhead and fell in love with it. Yeah.
Okay. So you are from Brooklyn. When did you
Mhm.
move to Atlanta?
I came to Atlanta probably about 7 years ago. So I lived in DC for some time. That's why I went to college.
Okay.
And then I came to Atlanta. Yeah, so it's been a little minute now. It's always coming on a decade, but I'm still going to rep my NYC. But
Right, right.
Atlanta has been good to me. I've met some amazing people, some amazing doors have opened. So in life, I realized it's not always where you want to be, but where you need to be. So
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So your sister, is safe to say, inspired your journey?
most definitely. One of the things that I've always loved, because I've worked with some amazing talents in the industry, some very well-known names, and one of the things that I've always loved is that when you come across someone and they have such a strong sense of humility, she's one of the most down-to-earth people, and just has a beautiful heart, and that's
Mhm.
one of the things where I have a lot of pride in, because a lot of times where I've done performances, because I do theater, film, commercial, so different facets of the industry. I always have people approach me and just someone's like, man, you just so personable. I love that. You're just so humble. Or sometimes I go on set or I'll go and I support my friends because I'm big on that in this industry. It's like, man, don't let this guy be quiet. He's doing this, he's doing that. And my whole thing is like, no, I'm just like everybody else, just grinding and giving it my all. So yeah, it's definitely been a journey, and I'm loving every page of this chapter.
That is wonderful. Mm, Okay. So you started modeling first,
Hmm.
and then what was your big breakout to say, you know what? I know for a fact I really want to do this. I mean, it's one thing that your sister's doing it, but you had that experience that made you say, you know what? Yeah, let's keep continue to do this.
Oh man, love the camera. Being on set, and actually had an opportunity that came across the counter, should I say, and it was a audition for a Kaiser commercial back home in Manhattan. So the different part about it is they wanted someone with a British accent, and I
Hmm.
play around with it, and I was like, all right, well, you never know if you don't try, So actually, in the size, it was saying that we looking for like an Idris Elba type, and I was like, well, look, I'm gonna just try. And at the time, so I did the initial audition. They loved it. Told me they really wanted me to fly to New York, come and audition in person. But at the time when I got there, I wasn't sure what my chances were because they actually had two native British guys there. One was a Caucasian, one was African American.
Hmm.
I was like, man, they got the authentic, accent. And I don't know that well. The director told me that the tone of my voice, the inflection. So I booked it, and when I say I loved every minute on it, and it was times where, of course, you had to balance work and and I tell people all the time, especially when they want to step into the industry, you really have to have a passion. It has to be more than you want to be in front of the camera because it takes work. You really got to be
Hmm.
willing to put in the work. So, but yeah, I loved every second of it. And then shortly after that, I got the opportunity to be in Marvel's Black Panther. And I can't even put into words what that feeling was like to be around such greatness and have such a strong camaraderie with everyone on set.
Okay. You just said a lot. You're doing a whole lot. Okay. Now, how did you get on Black Panther?
Oh man, so it's crazy because like my modeling, it actually was a segue, because actually it was on a couple of different platforms for my modeling. I've been published in a couple of different magazines, and I was approached, but it was a very inconspicuous type, inbox, reach out, say, hey, definitely looking into some new talent, and I like your look. I would like to speak to you more. And at the time I was working a lot of overtime because I was a compliance director for international trucking company. So my schedule
Mm.
was, and, so I wasn't sure if it was something legitimate or not. But I just had that gut feeling just to give it a chance. And it was the casting director, so I went in, had a few auditions, a few panel auditions, and yeah, I'm telling you, it was such a eye-opening experience. It's one of the times where you kind of see the little kid in you come out. you know
Hmm.
I've been on set 19, 20 hours and be exhausted, and even all the time that you've been on set, you still have this sense of excitement when you see it come to the screen and see it come all together. So
Absolutely. Okay. Were you on both, or were you on the first one or the second one?
I was on the original one, the original Black Panther.
Okay. And
Yeah.
did you have speaking roles?
I was one of the Jabari Warriors. So with Chadwick Boseman and this man, Angela Bassett, Forrest Whitaker. Yeah. It was something that really opened so many doors. So I had a lot of opportunity to speak, be seen, be featured. That's how I started with stunts. Just so many doors open just from that one opportunity.
That is amazing. So
Thank you.
you just brought up something about stunts, right? When
Hmm.
you had to learn all of the moves and everything, how rigorous was it learning the different stunts? Because my husband is just now starting to take stunt classes, and
Hmm.
ooh, I see the videos. I'm like, man.
Extremely. It would definitely push your limits. I mean, there are times where I came back and like every joint hurt. Definitely let me know I wasn't in my 20s anymore. But the adrenaline rush, the excitement, and when you're able to see how things come together behind the screens, it
Mhm.
makes every minute worth it. But it's definitely a test. You have to push yourself. But the reward, and it's you can't. It's immeasurable in words. It's something that is timeless. It's something, of course, that adds to the resume. It's something that makes you proud beyond words of what you're able to do.
Right. Okay. What are some of the most common mistakes that performers make?
Hmm. I think a lot of mistakes that people come in, if you come in and you're not teachable, you know,
Hmm.
you come in and you can't take direction, that's going to be a major flaw. Or even if you've had experience on different sets, if you come in with a sense of like hubris, like you're over prideful and you're just like overconfident, I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm doing, that could lead to injury. So being able to take direction, take your time, and also know what direction that the stunt coordinator is looking for, that the director is looking for, that the overall idea of the project, because as a creative, you may have in your mind like, oh yeah, I'm gonna kill it, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna come from the side, they're gonna love this. Everybody wants to work with someone that can take direction. So I think that's one of the biggest things. And just make sure you take it safe, the safe protocols, because we've all seen many situations where some things have happened on set with stunts. So we have to take it serious and know that things can happen if things don't go the right way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, speaking of Black Panther, how long before learning the stunts and all the moves before y'all actually start filming?
mm, I said it was about a good 4 months of intense training,
Wow.
before starting to do the initial one. So um, just like the rigor training, and there's times where I've been in the air 25 feet and doing fighting scenes, and yeah, I was exhausted many days.
I bet you was.
Yeah, but just to be able to take from that, and everybody from that, I mean, we formed like a family. I have some brothers that we've been on set. It's been what, 5, almost 6 years now, and we're close as thieves. It's we stay in contact with one another, we support what each other is doing, And it's nice to be able to see how it's evolved in so many different things in different areas for all of us.
Yeah. Okay. All right. What is the biggest misconception about life in this industry?
I would say the biggest misconception, and I can't state it enough, is that it's not an overnight success. You
Right.
have people that feel like, okay, well, I decided today I'm gonna be an actor, and I expect, I'm gonna be on BET tomorrow. That's not how it works. This is definitely an industry where you have to put in the work. You have to grind. You have to make sacrifices. You have to be focused, and it's a process. A lot of people think that, okay, I want to be an actor, and I'm going to find me an agent. That's not how it works either. You have to be able to understand that as an agent or agency, they're representing you. So one of the biggest things, they want to make sure how you represent yourself.
Right.
So from your brand is important, your social media, the way you conduct yourself. If you've been on set before, the impression that you leave with different directors and crews, all that plays a part. Because at the end of the day, when they see you, they see your agency. They don't see as like, okay, this is Tobias. They do to a certain degree, but also looking at your agency, and it can affect future opportunities. So you have to grind, you have to work, you need to take classes, make sure you have quality headshots, make sure that you understand what works for you, what lane works best for you, and be able to optimize on that. So it's a process. It definitely takes time.
Yeah. Those are some words of wisdom right there. Okay. So how did you get started in doing voiceovers?
Oh man, for some reason I've always, I'm a big kid at heart, so I love like animation and cartoons and the voiceover and gaming. And
Mhm.
a lot of my buddies from Black Panther, they were doing some things out in California because actually a big portion of the cast flew in from LA, and
Mm.
we big part of it here in Atlanta. We were on set in Fairburn, and it was like man, like a 12,000 acre property, just amazing. But they were just telling me there are a lot of different opportunities that they were able to have, and I've always heard that. Man, there are times where I've gone into stores, I've talked to customers on the phone. They're like, "Oh my God, your voice, your voice, your voice! Like, have you done radio? Have you ever thought about voiceover?" And I always said that it was something that I wanted to get into. So I had a conversation with my agent, and shout out to Salah Actors, Crew and Talent Agency here in Atlanta, and my agent Lisa Morel. She jumped on it. She's like, "All right, well, let's look into it." And the opportunities have been coming left and right, and I love every minute. So I've done narration, I've done animation. Now I'm looking into doing some gaming voiceover as well.
Wow. You do have a real calming voice and
Think
soothing voice. You sound like you sing too.
think I'll get that a lot too. I can do a little something, something. My
You
mother
know,
sings,
some bars.
yeah, my father sings a little bit. So yeah, I think there was something that I inherited. I could do a little something. But yeah, I get that a lot. It's like, oh my God, I know you can sing. I could just tell from your voice.
Yeah, you
So
do. You have
thank you.
not only you have that voice, but you have the look like you're an artist that's a singer. You know what I mean?
Oh
So
man, I appreciate it. It's so funny because a lot of times, like I said, I'm when I say I'm big on support, I tell people all the time, as a creative, there's a time to where you have to believe in a dream that sometimes you're the only person that believes in it. So
right,
you have to be able to keep pushing yourself regardless of, to get people getting you like, well, how much are they paying you? How long you got to be in class? Or, if it's something that, how many people are not successful at it, you have to keep pushing yourself. So I support my friends as much as I'm able to when my schedule allows. And every time I'm there, I get approached just like, you look familiar. Are you a producer? Are you a director? He's like, you just have the look. But I do get that quite often. And it's actually, I think that's something that's going to be down the line. I've gotten that bug of, directing, and I've helped a little bit behind the scenes. So I think I do have an interest in that somewhere down the line to, kind of multitask with that, the producer director side as well.
okay. Now your first paid commercial doing voiceovers was with Pfizer. That's
Yeah.
major.
Yeah. Yeah. When I say and it was one of the things I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna get it. I'm still kind of green. I don't know if I'm gonna get it. But they told me, they was just like, it's something about your voice and the energy and the passion that you put into it. That's what makes the difference. And whenever I get a chance to speak to people who first come in this industry and even veteran creatives, I think it's important for us to push one another. And one of the things, you have to feel that character. You also have to be cognizant that there's so many other people that come in and do the same exact thing. So know how you're able to put a little bit of butter in that character, put a little Tobias in that character. How would I respond to it? How would I give them something that they hadn't seen? Because there are times to where the director or the creator may be looking for something and they're not even aware of it until you bring it out. And it's like, oh man, I never thought about that. Let's go with that. So yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we talked about you being an actor, a model, you doing stunts, you're doing voiceovers. You're also an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Can you tell me about your businesses and a philanthropist?
Sure.
You got a lot going on.
So yeah, I do a lot. So a lot of people don't know that I'm a notary, also a licensed insurance agent in life, health, property, casualty, Medicare, Medicaid. So I do it all, and I'm licensed in 13 different states.
Wow.
It was important to me to make sure that it was like a one-stop shop. When it comes to insurance and you're talking about wills and you're talking about financial stability for your family, there's a certain level of trust that you build. And if I'm able to come to you and I can ensure different streams of what's important to me and protecting my family, I'd rather come to somebody that I've built a rapport with in comparison to just anyone. So that was always a passion for me. So I started my agency, Trinity Insurance Solutions. And that's been in inception for a little bit over 2 years now. And then I started my 501c3, the Tobias Armand Cancer Foundation.
And what inspired you to start that?
A number of different things. Cancer, as we all know, is something that hits everybody. I don't care what your gender, your ethnic background, what class of life you come from, it hits everyone. And regardless of what your pockets look like, there's no avoiding it. You have to go through the trenches. And a lot of times it's not the support that you need, whether it be mental, physical, psychological. There's a lot of different stages that you go through. And I lost my younger sister, Tiara, to cancer back in 2021.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. It was extremely difficult for me and my family because when I say she was just the zest of life. I mean, she had the infectious smile that she walked into a room and just lighted up. She was a character. She had a sense of humor. She was adventurous. She was outspoken and had a strong love and passion for people. And just to see her go in with such a courage and, go through the radiation, through the chemo, it took a lot of reinsurance. It took a lot of support. And a lot of times people don't have that. And a lot of people aren't aware as well is I'm a cancer survivor, actually twice. So it's been over 13 years now. So I went through a great deal, losing my hair. I was in a wheelchair for some time, learning to walk again. So that's also one of the other things that I'm very blessed and very thankful and grateful for. So to go from that and to go on to a major set with these iconic legends and to be able to do stunts and to be able to, model in some of the top magazines and, it's to be able to do that after coming through an ordeal where you didn't know whether you're going to be able to overcome it or not. It definitely let me know that I had a certain platform that I needed to reach out. And one of the biggest challenges was financially, financial support. At the time I was working, but of course, I was in the hospital nearly almost 6 months.
Jeez.
took a lot. It took a lot of prayer. It took a lot of fighting. It took a lot of my family support and friends. I had friends coming from everywhere. They would mean it was my mom. She quit a job. She came up and, took care of me. They had people that would bring meals and send her money and bring like whatever you need. I got you. I got you. But I know a lot of people don't have that. They don't have the resources. They don't know what direction to go into. And of course, with this being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, is definitely a big time for, my nonprofit and reaching out. And that's why I love to see all these charity events in support of survivors and those going through it. So, yeah. And I tell people all the time, and as you see, I'm passionate about it. I'm going on and on. But one of the things that I say, it makes such a difference. There's a difference between sympathy and empathy. When you're able to say that I've been there, I know the emotional roller coaster that you're going through. I know the challenges that you're feeling. I know what it's like to be hungry, but your body don't want to accept anything. I know what it's like tasting things and it tastes like metal, and you're going through the appointments and seeing that you're putting this almost poison into your body. So it's tough, and we need all the support that we can. So my foundation, I've been very blessed to have a lot of support and a lot of things coming into play that was able to really make us as successful as we are and really have an impact.
Wow. I have a nonprofit called Artists Rock the Mic, and we worked
Nice.
with I Will Survive, and we did a concert, of course, music related. So we did a concert, and we gave out our CDs to the cancer survivors and who was going through. We also gave the women the head scarves and everything. And then we also gave them gas cards to get back and forth to their
Wow.
chemo sessions and stuff like that.
Wow.
It turned out to be really, really good. And it's something that my family has, we've lost a few, from cancer as well. So it's definitely something that's near and dear to our hearts as well.
I'm
So we have
sorry.
to see how we can team up and do some stuff for sure.
Oh, most definitely. It just, man, it touches my heart. And when you see little kids going through it and mothers, because one of the things that hit hard is that my niece and nephew was still really young when my sister passed, so
Yeah.
they call me Uncle Pop, and I've been that since from the time that they could talk. I've
Right.
been change diapers, make bottles. I've been there every step of the way, and of course now they really don't let me out of their sight. They're my hearts. But I wanted to create something that she would be proud of. I mean, that's even where the thought went into my logo for
Mhm.
my foundation. It had meaning behind that, because elephants, they represent memory and strength and resilience.
Mm.
And he loved elephants, and as do I. So that's why my foundation is that. And of course, you can find us, online and all different social media platforms as well. But yeah, I would love to do something, and it's definitely my passion to help out. So we provide resources and different opportunities of where people can go, whether they need counseling, whether they need financial assistance,
Mhm.
scholarships, community events, all of that, plays a part, and every little bit helps. So
Okay. Well, I have two more questions for you. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Can you
no.
tell everybody about your books? Because you're also an author. Like I said, you wear many hats.
Yes, yes, yes. So my first opportunity is I created an anthology with about 12, 13 different authors. And it was at the time where COVID was just really rampant. And there was a big, I would say, situation where many people were going through depression and just
Mhm.
needed something positive. So everyone, and actually it was really unique that everyone is in the industry to some form of fashion, producer, director, model, actors, and we all told of a really passionate story from our hearts. And it's been a bestseller on Amazon in the morning, and then also we created another project, The American Nightmare. So it talked about as being African American men in the US and the world, and some of the things that we go through, and not necessarily from a place of anger or a place of just conflict, but being able to show it from our perspective and some of the experiences that we go through. And it had an amazing response. And then also I'm working on a biography now, so I'm actually, want to tell my story and some of the things that I've gone through to be an inspiration to others. So
I can
yeah,
definitely see your story being told,
thank you.
but
Thank you.
not just in books.
Well, I have a lot of work to do, and I'm just, I'm really blessed to meet some amazing people like yourself. And, I tell you all the time, every time I see you, is that I'm just really just proud, because a lot of people have so much talent that goes untapped. They don't have the fortitude or the courage to go after it. And I've seen you take the stage, the mic, directing, acting. So you keep going, and I will definitely be there to support you in any way that I can.
I appreciate that so much. So thank you. Can you tell everybody what's next for you and how they can reach you?
Oh, most definitely. You can find me on all social media platforms. On Instagram, I'm actor underscore Tobias Armand. That's actor underscore TOBIASARMAND. Then you can also find me on Twitter, Armand underscore Tobias. YouTube, Tobias Armand. I'm working on a couple of different things. I can't really talk too much about it, but I actually have 2 television series that I'm working on, and also 3 feature films. So things are quite busy. One is a thriller, one is action, another one is suspense, and I'm actually kind of bouncing around a couple of different theater projects because I do feel it's important to be able to do theater as well. um, I think that it gives you a certain edge and sharpness on your skills. So I do try to do that from time to time whenever my schedule allows. So, but yeah, I'm working on a number of different things, and I love all the support. And I'll keep you guys posted. Just follow me.
Absolutely. Well, I'd like to thank you so much for being a guest on Transparency Talks podcast and being so transparent with everything that you have going on. So thank you so much.
Oh, most definitely was an absolute pleasure. Take care, and I'll be watching out for the great things that you're doing as well.
Okay.
Thank
And with
you.
that, everybody, we are out of here and we will talk to you guys later. Peace.